Do something!
Sam. Help me, Sam.
Before we start, let's have a quick pop quiz. What does hard liquor plus a bored Finnish person give you? If you said exception, then you are a freaking child prodigy. That's right, you high-pitched little bastard. Exception, the brainchild of Finzi. This custom campaign is a perfect example of what a little bit of imagination, a love for Serious Sam, and the joy of exploration can give you. Exception is a 4-map long campaign for Serious Sam 3, sporting a custom story centered around Sam and Nectrissa as they fight against Mental's attack in Sam's own mind. This time around, Mental is using figments of Sam's imagination to try and annihilate you. This attack on Sam's mind has also caused Nectrissa to go on the fritz, and Sam must bring her back to her senses if he's to survive. Unlike other campaigns, Exception is a bit more special. It doesn't take place in worlds that we've seen before in a Sam game, which is probably the main selling point for this custom campaign. You won't find yourself in any familiar places anytime soon whilst playing through Exception, but you will find yourself fighting similar enemies and using the same enemy types with some fantastic twists thrown in to keep it fresh. This campaign contains 4 maps and 1 credits level. At the time of this review, the first 3 maps are complete, with the 4th map lacking a final boss to round it all off. These levels are, in order, Dream Collapses, Madness Begins, The City of the End, and The Peak of Insanity. Each of these maps has a completely different style from its predecessor, which can be a bit jarring, and each map may be slightly out of place. Some maps share things in common with another, but at the same time feel completely different from one another. Depending on the player, this can be very interesting, but it also seems a bit of a bother. I personally found it to be a good move, as it really works well with how the story is trying to show you the state of mind that Sam is in as you go through the levels. Although that being said, the levels become a little bit less crazy as you proceed, become a bit more serious tone towards the end, losing a bit of the humour it starts out with. Exception is a very story-driven campaign, with all dialogue being fully voiced for each character. Sam and Nectrissa will talk to each other, or Sam to the various figments of his imagination, before being thrown into long, but enjoyable battles with classic Mental minions. Exception doesn't take long to pick up the pace, giving you small weapon rewards constantly as you fight through Mental's hordes and giving you plenty to fight with all the time.
No, it is not. Oh, like, how does it look to you, huh? Did he appear? What do you think? Huh? Oh, you can't. This is funny.
Okay, that does it! I'm Sam. Serious Sam.
You Samus look for medallion.
Look, I really don't have time for this, so...
We take a break. Follow me.
This is a damn relief, because Exception is by no means an easy campaign. Exception is definitely made for those with previous skills in the game, with many enemies of various difficulty appearing barely 15 minutes into the map. Using underpowered weapons against these foes is what makes it interesting, as you must use classic Sam skills in order to win. However, these skills aren't always going to be what you need. The boss fights in level 1 is a perfect example of this, with you having to kill Scrapjags in order to find the firepower that you need to kill a giant Chaos Kanum, who taunts you as you fight. It's tense moments like these that make the battles incredibly rewarding and fun to do, even if they can be punishingly difficult for those not prepared. Another standout point for the campaign's 4 levels is the search for secrets and how you are rewarded for taking the time in between fights to explore. You can tell from some of the early secrets that Finzi has put a lot of effort into expressing his love for various games in the Exception maps. Not only is his love for games like Warhammer, Ape Escape and Final Fantasy shown through these secrets in the game, but in the dialogue against enemies and your conversation with friendly NPCs as well. Interestingly enough, not knowing who these characters you face are doesn't change how enjoyable they are, with these cameos feeling like they belong there in the first place, and meld in well with the campaign style.
I refuse to die! Holy cow! Well met, and good riddance.
However, some secrets included in the map seem more like in-jokes and would leave some people confused and bewildered. Although I may be biased as I know all these jokes, I can say that this will be a negative point for some people, as they wouldn't exactly know what they're supposed to be laughing at, or what they're meant to be looking at in particular. Finzi has taken a liking to using a dynamic style of music in his maps. He's also taken to accommodating a lot of your actions and some of the secrets you find with unique sound effects. 1 minute I'm fighting normal enemies, but all will go quiet. A tense sound effect will play and I'm face to face with a large boss. Ominous music plays and suddenly I'm thrown into a battle with evil orchestrated music in the background. As he dies and he screams chaotically in defeat, the song will change to a presto of music that makes your heart leap in satisfaction at your victory. This is common in all 4 maps, with unique dialogue and music being played in several places, which further reward you for exploring. Each of the 4 maps have a particular style of music to accommodate them as your trip through Sam's mind becomes more dire. It's touches like these that make the maps more enjoyable to trek through each time. With the fantastic level design, focus on story and exploration, and the great sound design, Exception stands apart as one of the best campaigns available for Serious Sam 3. Although it can be punishingly difficult for those not practiced, and containing bewildering references and immersion-breaking secrets, it's a must-play map pack for all.